Hey, like I tell you from the beginning, don't be fearful for anything at all. No police, no nothing, no National Guard, no nothing. That's how I'm gonna start this video off this time. I don't care, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll try to put pressure on you to have fear. Your melanin is so strong to the point where they can damn near see your light. You don't even realize you are, you know what I'm saying? You feel like you're in a, we know we're in these human bodies, these cells. Well, these entities are in these people's bodies, and they can see you, but you can't really know how magnified you are. So let's get right into the real shit, man. Let's get right into the. I'm gonna tell you where I'm getting this text from. It's not no. I don't keep the books or the name of the books from nobody. All right, I'm gonna pause real quick. All right, it's called Bullfinch's Mythology, including the complete text of the age of fable, the age of chivalry, legends of Charlemagne. I haven't gotten to that part, but I was learning about Parzival, his story about him becoming a knight from Bobby Hemmett, and I realized when I got this book from Goodwill, only got it for $1. $1.25, I think. I only got this book for $1.25. I stood in there and got like what 5 or 6, 7 books or whatever, and this is one of them. Excuse me. Got fuck that. And this is one of them. So this is one of the books that I got. So and there's like illustrations in here too of certain deities, or this is all mythology, but mythology is like divine. It's like higher than some sciences or higher than certain maths too also. So I'm gonna get back into the what I was about to start reading. Okay, I already read the part or the section on Parzival. So this is the next chapter, right? So it says the Sangreal, or the Holy Grail. That's the cup that supposedly so-called Jesus had even drank out of. Okay, let me get to the story. But there is no real historical Jesus. All right, get that out your mind. So this is just mythology, okay? The Sangreal was the cup from which our Savior drank at his Last Supper. He was supposed to have given it to Joseph, or Arimathea, who carried it to Europe, together with the spear with which the soldier pierced the Savior's side. So when he was on the cross, reaching illumination or getting ready, he had to make a sacrifice before he went to illumination. He the old song in the church, they pierced him in the side. Oh yeah, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, they pierced him in the they pierced him in the side. So from generation to generation, one of the descendants of Joseph of Arimathea had been devoted to the guardianship of these precious relics, both on the sole condition of leading a life of purity in thought, word, and deed. Okay, I didn't really highlight this part, but I'll just go ahead and read it. All right. For a long time, the Sangreal was visible to all pilgrims, and its presence conferred blessings upon the land in which it was preserved. But at length, one of these holy men to whom its guardianship had descended so far forgot the obligation of his sacred office as to look with unhallowed eye upon a young female pilgrim whose robe accidentally loosened as she knelt before him. So they telling you, you know what I'm saying, you have to have purity in order to have the grail and or the oh yeah. Let me I'm gonna get into this book too. It's a little section I'm gonna read. To have the Spear of Destiny. Ooh. Written by Trevor Ravenscroft. So I'm gonna get back into the book I'm reading. So you pretty much got to be they saying you gotta be like pure, like not pure of heart, but more of let me read that part again so you know what I'm trying to say, trying to get across. But on the sole condition of leading a life of purity in thought, word, and deed. So you pretty much can't do shit. But that's why I say it's just mythology. They have motherfuckers in a docile, not to all those things they tell you not to do. You should damn near do them, because it's not your soul that's doing them. You just controlling the body to make yourself do them. All right. So don't look at it as these are for, this is for people that's, what I'm saying, that's actually trying to do something with themselves, like spiritually, or reaching a higher level. Like don't hold yourself to that regard. You are not this body. You just in this body controlling it, just like it's like a car or something, or a forklift. All right, I'm gonna continue reading. But at length of these holy men, to whom its guardianship had descended, so far forgot the obligation of his sacred office as to look with unhallowed eye upon a young female pilgrim whose robe was accidentally loosened as she knelt before him. So pretty much her titties was out. All right. And then motherfucker's like, damn, you got some big ass titties. Or you got some nice titties. And he looked. Motherfucker, guess what happened to him? The sacred lance instantly punished his frailty, spontaneously falling upon him. What? So the spear of destiny fell upon him and afflicting a deep wound. Oh, shit. The marvelous wound could by no means be healed, and the guardian of the Saint Grail was ever after called Le Roi Pécheur, the Sinner King. Le Roi Pécheur, the Sinner King. The Saint Grail withdrew its visible presence from the crowds who came to worship, and an iron age succeeded to the happiness which its presence had diffused among the tribes of Britain. Now, I was remembering a while back, I was learning about different countries and what they produce. So, like they try to make that, just because that shit happened with the Spear of Destiny. So now they have nothing but iron, and that's what they mainly use. That's their main source of because they saying that people used to come in and watch it and be in awe of the Spear of Destiny, and so they saying after it was after it left, after hurting that guy, well, I'm gonna give him his name. Well, the name they gave him, Le Roi Pécheur, the Sinner King. After it wounded him, or that couldn't be healed, they're pretty much saying they end up having an iron age, or that's all they have is iron because of that. And they received what they in an iron age succeeded to the happiness which its presence had diffused among the tribes of Britain. So this is just mythology, like story wise, like it's like saying the Spirit of Destiny has a mind of its own, and since you looked at that woman, you damn near fondle her titties with your eyes, we're gonna fuck you up. So they're telling you that pretty much in this mundane world, you can't touch or look. All you can do is stay by yourself and just fondle yourself and just imagine this woman and not even try to do anything, or just look. He didn't even touch her. He just looked, and the motherfucker Spirit of Destiny had his way with him. So no. So they're trying to say that they have an iron age because of this, and it brought happiness to them. No, that's not the case. All they had was iron. They don't have as many. They don't have minerals like that up in Europe. So that's why they have to go into other countries and pillage and take other lands from different people. All right. So I'm gonna get into the Spirit of Destiny real quick. Hold on, give me a second. All right. So once again, I'm in the book, The Spirit of Destiny. Okay. So I'm gonna get right into it. All right. 45, 47. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm gonna give you some background into later times. So what I had read previously was more mythology. So now I get into more history. So, all right, here we go. Okay, a man of charismatic personality, rare genius, and legendary occult powers, fluent in 6 languages, a chivalrous knight and a lyric poet who inspired his messengers to chant about the Holy Grail. The incomparable Frederick was also a patron of the arts, a skillful and courageous commander in the field of battle, a statesman of infinite subtlety, and an enigmatic soul, part saint and part devil. He was balanced. And where was that word I just saw? He had legendary occult powers. Doom, doom, doom. Occult comes from occultum, which is pretty much melanin. So it was occultum, or occult means that which is hidden. So light can't, darkness doesn't come from light. Light comes from darkness. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to this. Nurtured in Sicily, then part of the extensive German Empire, this prince of Swabian blood spoke Arabic with his Saracan soldiers, kept a large harem, penned the first scientific thesis on Hawking, believed in astrology, and practiced alchemy. Alchemy is to blend different things and make something. It's almost like you blend different things and to get one final, not subject, but one final entity. You can pretty much say you can mix different things and like your melanin, or mix certain things. You have all these different things in your body, so you just turn it into gold. So whatever you're trying to come up with, or whatever you do while you're mixing, you'll have a finished product. Pretty much, that's what alchemy is. Prizing the possession of the spear beyond all things, he made it the focal point of his whole life, especially calling on his powers during his crusades, in which Francis of Assisi once carried the spear on an errand of mercy, and throughout his running battles with the Italian states and papal armies. So we're going to fast forward. See right here, when you see these, when you're reading, that means more likely you're going to have some at the bottom for you. So most people that read pretty much know, but it's for everybody. Adolf Hitler it's nothing wrong with Adolf Hitler, so just get that out your head. It's this information. Adolf Hitler gave orders for his troops to fight a bloody, regarded action, while engineers removed the memorial stone of Frederick II, Hohenstaufen, from the field of battle in Italy. The memorial stone was brought back to Germany. Okay, so they had a stone that was actually taken from them. What was it? It was talking about it was in battle in Italy. So that's pretty much he was. See, that's none of my business. Some bullshit going on outside ain't none of my motherfucking business. All right, let's keep it going with the information. The most important discovery of all for the young Hitler, tracing the history of the Spear of Destiny, did not concern either emperors or their dynasties of power. It was the discovery that the spear had been the inspiration of the founding of the Teutonic Knights, whose chivalrous and courageous deeds and whose irreversible vows and ascetic disciplines had been the very substance of his childhood dreams. Adolf Hitler spent 3 days in his first tentative researches into the history of the spear of Longinus. Perhaps he felt a tingling in his spine as he strode across the library to pull out from the shelves the works of the great German philosopher Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. Okay? For it seemed to Hitler that the men who had claimed the spear throughout throughout history and fulfilled its legend fitted into Hegel's description of the world historic heroes who carry out the will of the world, spirit, the very plan of providence. Okay? All right, so I'm like, Hegel, that name sounds, I just have to look him up. Who was he and what he did? Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. Okay, Hegel, that sounds so familiar. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and look him up and see what he did or whatever. I wrote this, I didn't at the time, I didn't have a pen. So I wrote this with a highlighter. It's going to be hard for y'all to read this. I'm going to have to read this without the camera. So I'm going to try to get in as much as I can. Let me try to do this real quick. Can get zoom. Can get zoom. You got to have fun with this shit, man. Oh, there you go. Hegelianism. I really cannot read this. I'm gonna read off the book. Hey, Hegelianism, the rational. The rationale alone is real. All reality can be expressed in rational categories. Okay, that's what Hegelianism means. Okay, that's what he put down. So you can pretty much look it up for yourself, pretty much. If you can't read that, just look it up for yourself. I'm pretty much going through all the shit for you. All you have to do is go back and just check my shit. And if you check it yourself, and if I'm wrong, don't fuck with me. If I'm right, okay, he doing something. All right. They may be called heroes in much as they have derived their purpose and their vocation not from the regular course of things sanctioned by the existing order, but from a concealed fount from the inner spirit, still hidden beneath the surface, which impinges on the outer world as on a shell and bursts it into pieces. All right, so this is where I really got the definition. This is why I went to go get the definition. All right, the philosophy of Hegel was a bit beyond the young Hitler, who would not have been able to appreciate such subtle distinctions as the concepts of being and existence. But one thing about Hegel did appeal to him, and that was the fact all sense of morality seemed to dissolve from the philosopher's soul when he contemplated what he called world historic heroes. Boom. So world historic heroes. I'll go back up. World historic men, the heroes of the epoch, must therefore be recognized as its clear-sighted ones. Their deeds are the best of their times. So I not feel, but know that Hitler did a lot of great things, and they demonize him because who runs Hollywood and supposedly certain governments are the so-called Jews, the Ashkenazim Jews. That means Ashkenazim Jews was the ones that was actually in Europe. So they're not the one that was down out in Israel like that. So they'll just say that and have these people there, and but they don't even help their own people. So regardless, I don't feel like there's any. I know there's nothing wrong with Hitler. He actually has our information. He used our information from the Tibetans. So when you see that, yeah, that's the swastika. And I tilted mine just like the Nazis. So like that means war. I'm at war with all this shit out here. So let me pause it real quick. All right. It was late one afternoon when Hitler entered the Schnarchkammer with awe and fear of his heart to take the second look at the Heilige Lance. So they're explaining what he saw. I slowly became aware of a mighty presence around it. The same awesome presence which I had experienced inwardly on those rare occasions in my life when I had sensed that a great destiny awaited me, the spirit of destiny. He could feel something strange and powerful emanating from the iron spearhead, which he could not readily identify. And now he began to understand the significance of the spear and the source of his legend, and he sensed intuitively that it was a vehicle of revelation, a bridge between the world of sense and the world of revelation. A world of sense and a world of spirit. This is Prodigy's